Well, hi, good morning. It's November 19th here, and I'm about to start on this radio, but first, let me just shove my camera in front of a window here. Look out that window. What's all that white stuff out there? Snow. Snow has come. We had about, not a lot, maybe 5 centimeters of snow out there. It's probably going to melt off today and be gone, but it has started. The snow season has started. Typically, where I live here in Aurelia, the total amount of snow that falls over the winter is around 3 meters. So generally we get up to about a meter's worth of snow built up through the winter. So this snowfall will melt in maybe the next 1 or 2, but somewhere around the middle of December or so, snow will fall and it won't melt until the spring. Yes, I have to face up to it. I already have my snow tires on my car though, so ready to go. And what about this radio? Oh my gosh. So yesterday, I really felt the whole time I was on my way to finding what was wrong or what is wrong, or if there is anything wrong in this radio. And I ended up not really not being able to pinpoint the problem, that's for sure. So the way I see it, I proved the antenna is working fine, so the radio is being delivered a good strong broadcast signal. And if you supply a good strong broadcast signal to the grid of the first tube in the radio, here it is here, you get a nice sound out the speaker. But somehow the strong signal in the antenna is not making a nice sound out the speaker. Well, definitely curious, and I still have this little piece of whatever here. I have not resolved what is going on with this little piece there, which is annoying me quite a bit. Nevertheless, the antennas seem to be doing its job. It seemed to be resonant against, I guess, some components inside the radio. All seemed well, all seemed good. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? So I think I'm going to try to supply a strong signal to the antenna from the signal generator, impress it on the antenna, and then track with my tracer that signal as it travels through the radio and try to find that way where it stops going. And you know, it's still in the back of my mind. I'm telling myself, there's nothing wrong with this radio, you're just being fooled. If it were in a different location, the antenna tipped differently, different, they would find out it's working perfectly fine. It's a little hard to believe based on yesterday's testing, because I really got a really good response when I injected the signal into this tube grid and back a little ways. It seems to me all that's in there is the that big multi-switch. Well, let me start with something that's irking me, and that is what's going on with this wire. I'm going to try to sort this out, even though it seems like it's an unimportant anomaly, but it is bothering me. So let's take a look at that. I looked at this yesterday and just kind of walked away from it, but now it really looks like the wire is hanging there. I mean, it just, or is that just some insulation peeled away? I mean, the part looks twisted, like the part that's sticking out looks twisted, like it's twisted around the wire. Yeah, I have to get to the bottom of this. Now, is there something else in behind there? Well, there is something else in behind there. There's the wire itself. Okay, it's just so dark, it's a little hard to see. Let me get my hooky tool here. So this is just cloth, this part. Wait a minute. Oh, that's not a wire. Oh, it's just a piece of cloth too. It's got to be the wire there, doesn't it? I mean, just... There's the wire. Oh. Wait. More light. We need more light on this topic here. Let me bring out the big beamer. Okay, let's take a look now. Let's beam that light in there. Very mysterious looking stuff. There's no wire coming out of this. Is that? Yeah, I apologize for if you can hear my stomach growling. That's breakfast. Is that the wire up in there? No, I've got too much light. Too much light. Too much light. Too much light. Let's try this one here. There we go. And how hard can it how hard can this be? Can I unwind that? Pull a little more out. So how is this thing constructed here? So what I'm seeing is it's not the same thing over and over. There's two things. There's a piece like this, and then a piece kind of down deeper. I wonder if there isn't a wire and a separator, all the way through here. And that's what gives it that unusual look. And all that's happened here is the separator has separated. And the wire is just up in here. Up in this. Just above where my tool's bumping against the wire. And then above that is another separator. That's got to be what they've done. They want to separate it with some cheap non-conductive stuff. String is the winner. Cheap string is the winner. I think that's how this is constructed. And the thicker part, where you think, well, that's got the wire in it, that's actually just the string. The wire is actually the thinner part in between. So that explains what this is. This is nothing but some filler material. Okay, that all makes sense because the antenna appears to work. How could it work? How could it possibly work with a break in it? I don't think it could. So I think that answers that question. Okay, so it's nothing. It is nothing. Okay. That's not helping though. Okay, right, so the plan was inject a signal, close couple it to the antenna, get a strong signal in the antenna, start tracing it through the radio. Basically the reverse of what I did yesterday. Okay, I'm going to get things set up for that. Let's try that. Okay, so what I've done is I've got a coil hanging up here right up against this antenna. I'm going to drive it with the signal generator. And what I realized is I don't even need the radio switched on to do this. As long as I'm working ahead of the first tube, it's just all passive components. I'm going to do the same thing whether the radio's on or not. So my counter's going wild there. Bingo! Right on a million. Isn't that a great? That's a great signal generator, that guy. Okay, so I have 1,000,000 hertz fired up at this coil. It's going to be in the antenna. Let's just take a look at the schematic here for a little bit and plan out what to do about it. Okay, so I'm injecting in this coil here, and I want to pick up the signal right from the antenna and get an impression of how strong it is on this wire right here. And I know where I can get at that. So I will do that, and then we'll have a sense of the signal strength coming from the antenna, and then next I should really just go to this capacitor. And I have to remind myself where this was. Right off of the grid on this tube. Yeah, okay, I'll do that. I'll remind myself where this capacitor is. We'll basically test one side or the other. That's really what it amounts to. Okay, so first step is get the signal right from the antenna. I can't get my fingers in to put this clip on, so I'm doing it this way. There we go. So on here will be the signal, kind of raw signal from the antenna. We can kind of think of it that way. So that'll give me an idea of the strength, which is what I'm after. Now we're going to use the signal tracer here. So this is also a radio. It will work either at RF frequencies or audio frequencies. We'll have it set to RF. And then we want to tune it roughly, well not roughly, but pretty close to where we're transmitting, and that's at 1 megahertz. So we go on band B, and 1 megahertz is right there. Just dial this like that. So this is now a radio listening at 1 megahertz. Not hearing anything. Okay, now the business end, the probe on this guy is kind of an odd looking thing. There he is. Okay, so it looks like this not because it's nice in your hand, but because there's a vacuum tube inside here. And the grid of the vacuum tube is just protruding, if you like, on this. So this goes nowhere. This just goes into the grid of a tube. It's just basically a floating piece of wire. That gives this thing a very, very high impedance. You can poke around without disturbing whatever it is you're poking around. Oh, we should be hearing something. There we are. So now if we get it near the signal, just quickly get a piece of it. I'm guessing there's a piece on here. Tune it. Hear nothing. How come? How come we hear nothing? Let's try it right on here. There it is. Interestingly enough, I guess that's not a good spot to get it up there. So here we are. Everything affects everything. The only reason I'm using this is because I don't think I can get this probe in all the way down there. You know what? Maybe I can. I don't think it's going to make any difference. Okay, so we want to get a sense of the volume here. So I hear the sound and I hear a little bit of hiss. Let me tune my hiss. This is the tracer being tuned. Okay, hear it now. It should sound pretty much the same when I touch it to the grid of that first tube, which I think is this pin here. Well, that sounds pretty much the same. That's the band switch being moved. There's nothing wrong. It's been bothering me all the way along here that I may be chasing a non-problem, which I've done numerous times in here. It's a non-problem. But when I trace this the other way by signal injection, how can this be the case? So if I inject the signal right in here, all it's got to go through, I think, is a couple of coils and capacitors and a switch to arrive up there. Okay. What has happened here? Chasing nothing. I had a lot of fun yesterday, even if in fact I was chasing nothing. Okay, now we go. It's exactly the same. Why did I think this radio doesn't work? I had good reasons, because I put a signal into the grid and could hear it very clearly, and as I backed up it disappeared, or got very weak. Sure doesn't seem that way now. Mysterious stuff happens. Let's wow, it's really in there. What do you say we turn this guy on and give him another try? I may have to do the put it in another room test, or something of that sort. But also, it didn't receive well. I mean, that's the real starting point. It just didn't seem to receive well. Okay, so I've got to get this out of the way here. Okay, antenna's hanging. Well, the only thing that's really different is the tube is sitting on a tube extender. It's on a tube extender. You know, when I pulled that tube out, I didn't comment, but what went through my head was, wow, that came out pretty easy. Could it be the tube just didn't make contact in there? That's just not terribly likely. Okay, let's give it a go. Give the set a go. First of all, I'm going to turn off the tracer here, so we're not listening to that. It has a hum. Just check a few things here. Okay, those are the two speakers. Let's separate a little further. This is an unnecessary wire. Let's get it out of here. You never know when something's going to happen. You're going to want to act fast, and if your bench is all cluttered up, your brain will have to do an awful lot of scattered thinking very quickly and try to figure out what to do if some kind of emergency arises. Okay, not that I expect any kind of emergency here. Now, volume down, power on. Is everything ready? Are we all ready? This is really hanging out here now. But the wires are connected. Okay, just leave it there. There we go. Thumbs up on the dim bulbs. Got more stuff to get off my bench here. Okay, what are you doing? So I do have the signal generator running just with this open wire here. Any chance of picking that up? Okay, so we're at the high end of the band, and we'll work our way down. Oh, wrong way, wrong way. Knob is backwards. That's right. The knob is backwards. Better put it on full power here. 2. Full power. It's pretty darn quiet. The volume up fairly high. We're passing the 1 million area. Now we're getting down into the where there should be some stations. It just doesn't give you a good feeling at all. We've hit the end. This is the end. Okay, let's do this. Let's tune the radio to 590, our best bet. You know, that's pretty convincing that it's not working, because it didn't work. Let me just grab this here. This with a signal generator producing a strong signal to this coil. Any radio would receive it within 10 feet. Any decent radio. So strong signal. Still at 1 megahertz. Let's go up there. Let's just see what happens at 1 megahertz. Anytime now. Just doesn't do it. Okay, let's help it out. There's dead spots. That's not really very impressive. It really is not very impressive. Oh, it's going right into the back of the radio. Oh. I'm not shooting it into the antenna. Hold it up near the antenna. Huh. Okay, well that's screaming out that there's something wrong. I never thought about signals leaking right into here. This was bolted without a metal plate. There's no metal plate for the bottom of it. Oh my gosh. Well, then I can't be using this coil to inject a signal. I'll have to go back to using the wire here. The wire should work okay. Let's stick this just like it is. Okay, again, there's a very strong signal on the signal generator. And I'll put this on. This is what got me concerned about this. I'm feeding a strong signal, like a blastingly strong signal into this radio. Maybe it's just not tuned. No. Is there something about using this wire? what is going on here? Well, if I'm blasting a strong signal right into the antenna, shouldn't I be able to hear it with the signal tracer down here? And again, I don't need the radio on to do this. I'll hear it coming out of the signal tracer, which I turned off, which I shouldn't have turned off. Let's bring it back up. So we're still at 1 million. So here's what's coming in. Oh, that's plenty loud. Here's what we hear up here. And it's all there, I think. Now, down here, set is off. Can I make it all the way back there? Well, I'm getting close, you can hear it. But not quite close enough. Okay, so what we'll do is we're just going to clip this on here. Let's go this way. Now this is extending the antenna-ness of this. It's more and more antenna-like. Right? Yeah, just get close to stuff. Here we go, not touching any volumes. Okay, so there's no question. Whatever's going here is going there is going there. And now we should get it on the grid. What the heck? What the heck? But wait a minute, just think for a second. How is it possible that I can drive a signal through the radio to the grid of the first tube and hear it at the grid of the first tube, loud and clear? Let's compare. One more time, compare. Let me turn this down because cats will be running for it up there. Okay. Sounds exactly the same, just what you would expect. Yet. So I've got two observations here that are just crashing into each other. Coffee break time. Okay, so I've been thinking a little bit about, well, what is it I'm not thinking of? It's really hard. Can you just think of what you're not thinking of? So I've been kind of testing up to the grid of the first tube, but I really haven't been testing beyond that more recently. So why not see what's showing up on the grid of the second tube and see if maybe the signal is actually getting to the first tube. It's something happening after that. When we listen on the speaker, we're listening to the whole radio, all the tubes and everything. So maybe I've missed something further downstream here. So what I want to do is take the signal tracer, stick it on the grid of the 6 SA7 mixer tube, and see what we hear there. I have to have the set operating for this. We will see. Okay. First, turn down the volume of the radio. Well, let's make sure it's tuned good. Okay, so that's its weak characteristic, even though I'm pounding a big fat signal into here. How big and fat? This big and fat. That big and fat. And if we have it here, like that, and then we look on this grid up here, it's a little weaker, isn't it? Because here you don't hear any hiss. Here you get some hiss. Oh, let's do what I was going to do though. We will now go to the grid of the next tube. Grid of the next tube. It should be louder, clearer, and less noise. That's what we should hear. Not turning any volume controls. You know what? I am going to turn down the volume here. Let me do it like this. My hand on here. Okay, there it is, with a hiss. Come Come back here. No hiss. Okay, grid of the next tube. So that sound you're hearing is coming out of the radio speaker. There's nothing coming out of my nothing coming out of the signal tracer. I'll turn the volume right down on the radio. Signal tracer says there's nothing there. That's pin number 8 of the 6SA7. Let's just look. Never mind the schematic, let's look in here. 6SA7. It's got a green wire coming to it. I remember testing there. 6SA7 pentagrid converter. Let me give 2 charts. So one of them has a internal connection to pin 1. Pin 1 here is connected to the suppressor grid, but here the suppressor grid, well, these look entirely different. They can't be different, can they? Here the cathode is directly connected to the pin 6 to the cathode and to the suppressor grid. That's quite normal. Up here, all they've done is they've taken the suppressor grid and brought it out on its own pin 1. That's quite a difference. Metal type 6SA7, that's what's in there. And glass octal type GT, which is which? Which is which here? Can't actually say. Oh, maybe it's over here. 6SA GT. What's this radio think it's got in it? It has a GT in it? It has a GT in it. Well, I'm really barking up another tree at this point. So let's just go back to what we're doing. Don't disappear off into never land here. We want to verify the grid. So this is really tough to look at. So usually in a radio like this, the oscillator is on the grid closest to the cathode, and the signal is on the 3rd grid in, which is pin 8, and pin 1 should have the oscillator on it. Okay, so I'm going to see, is that really how they did this radio? I'm going to take a quick peek at the schematic, peeking at it now, and we see that the signal grid is grid number 3, and that's pin number 8. Okay, so pin number 8 is the signal grid. Pin number 8 for sure is this. I'm doing the right tube. There it is. Can't hear a thing. Let me turn up the signal tracer here. There's no sign of it. Tuning the signal tracer. There's no sign of it. But well, somehow the radio can hear it. This is just getting weirder all the time. Somehow the radio can hear it, but when I try to listen with this, I can't hear it. Okay, down on the radio, let's just go over it again. This is what's on the antenna. Loud and clear. And then this is what's on the grid. Not so clear. Still loud. This big hiss is there. Well, it could be the antenna is picking up the hiss, and so ahead of the antenna, no hiss. After the antenna, hiss. So if we want to verify that idea, and it's I don't think I'm verifying much of anything here. Let's just keep poking around. Okay. go in there. So this is basically straight off the antenna. Careful, 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 careful. This is no good. This is no good. Tain't any good. Right off the antenna. Do I dare stick this in there? I think that's a dumb idea. Just turn the power off. Okay, power back on. What are we getting here? With a hiss. Does that even make sense? Because this is a very strong signal I'm blasting in here. This is a very strong hiss that's showing up. Starts making me think there's something wrong with the antenna again. Think more. I have to think more. Okay, just a moment of thinking. So again, what if I feed the signal generator into here, which is basically bypassing the antenna straight to the grid of this tube through one capacitor and some switches. Excuse me. What do we hear? If I leave it, I'll just leave it up as high as it is. It's stupidly high. Stupidly high signal here. Volume's down. So that should be crystal clear, no hiss. In fact, if anything, it should be overpowering the radio. I don't get it. I'm not getting it. Oop, that just came right off. And if I put this right on yonder grid with blasting away. Now, of course, there's impedance problems here galore. Yeah, that's a bit of a problem here. But let's do it anyway, for what it's worth. Grid has a very, very high impedance, very high resistance. And this is only a couple hundred ohms back to the... Okay, this is liable to be blastingly loud. Why didn't I hear that at all? In fact, we're hearing it right now. It's look at. That's tuning the radio. That's probably me injecting a signal into the radio just through this capacitor. Not helping. Okay, onto the grid. Is zero. Help me, please, somebody. So this radio is really ready to receive it. Just not the way I'm delivering it. Am I touching the wrong part of that tube? Is the tube not making contact up there? How crazy is that? Let me wiggle it here. This tube is cold. This tube is cold. Oh. Well, that that's disturbing. That's totally disturbing. Okay. Now the radio's working. Is it? Okay, let's put this back on. Let's just back up the cart here. What other pin is not making contact on that tube? The heaters, obviously. Now it's working. Okay, fed into the antenna, we get this kind of result. This volume level, a little bit of noise. Turn it down just a wee bit. And here we get this kind of signal, no noise. I gotta put this back in there. Uh-oh, going around in circles here. Going around and around in circles. The one ride I just could not stand at the our fair or any other kind of carnival type thing is the Ferris wheel. I can take about just about any other ride, but the Ferris wheel, I don't know. It freaks me right out. So, not that I've been on any rides for a long time. Okay, we're going to feed the signal in there. This is past the antenna. Put it back on. Wear the tubes out doing this. Around. That's beautiful. That's fantastic. Now I'm going to turn down the signal level over here. So that's 1/100th the signal we were just using. Now you hear a little bit of noise. So what happens if I fire this signal? You can hear this is killing the radio when it's connected here. Whoops, over here, over here, over here. Okay, this is killing the radio here. Well, I don't know. I'm injecting a signal. The AVC is operating. We're not really watching the AVC voltage. I don't care. It's too much. It's too much, man. Back to the antenna. Hear it? I don't need a lot more convincing that there's something not working out here. I don't know. I'm going to stand here in silence for too long, so you're just staring away at that stuff. Well, frustration mounts. Okay, bit of a long shot, but not really sure what to do. So I'm going to check the two pin voltages for 6SK7. So there's a screen on 6 and the plate on 8. 6 and 8 should show some voltages. 6 and 8. 6 and 8. Now I have a tube extender. behind that green wire. So pin 6 and 8. Oh my gosh. So I think this is 4, 3, 2, 1, 8. Okay, can anybody see that meter? I can't see it. I have to keep an eye on this meter down here. He's on the 500 volt scale. Yeah, 500 volt scale. 4, 3, 2, 1, go. There's the B plus. Now the 6. Oh my gosh, it's not easy to get to. No matter how you come at it. No matter how you come at it here. This was 8. Yeah. 7. Oh my gosh, 6 is way up under here. And the did I not? Maybe I didn't test this because it's almost inaccessible under here too. Okay, we'll power off. We'll put a clip lead on it or something like that. Something exactly like that. Pin 6. I'm going to tune the capacitor away. Give me some space here. And that's 8, 7. I got it. There we are. That's 6. There should be a screen voltage here. Maybe I didn't do this one. Maybe that's what this is all about. Okay, so I just turn it on. We should see nice screen voltage come up here. Should be up. Should be there. No screen voltage on the tube. Now, did I do this correctly? Let's double check things. 6SK7. 6SK7. Screen is 6. 8, skip 6. That's what I did. 8, skip 6. No screen voltage on there. Okay, now is that just because of the tube? Is the tube socket sort of situation? I'm going to wiggle that tube. I think it's a little worn now. Okay, watching this voltmeter for a jump. Oh, listen to this thing. That's the heater going on and off. Oh! Something got a lot better. There's something weird about the socket here. Okay, let's concentrate on that. Tube socket issue. So if we look at the screen grid, this is the tube I'm testing. There's the screen grid. 8, 7, 6, no question. Follow the wire. Follow the wire. You see, oh, it's going up here. There's the screen. Capacitors whose intention is to drain out any signal that might exist on these wires, on this wire. Screen. So otherwise it's just a straight wire between these two tubes screen grids. And if we keep going, with 3 tubes all sharing the same screen grid line. Go a little further, we see a resistor here. Did I mess up? Let's follow this again. R6, 10,000 ohms. And then this is B plus line here, going up to all the plates. Is there no screen voltage in this radio? I'm sure I tested for that, did I not? And maybe I skipped this first tube on account of it's too hard to do. It's just a continuous wire anyway. How can you not have it here but have it here? So I was testing on the tube extender. So it's possible, again, it's here on the pin, it's just not making it into the tube because of the socket problems. That's kind of weird. So I'm going to measure the resistance between the screen grid terminal here on the 6SA and the screen grid terminal on the 6SK. We should get 0 ohms. And I'll do it on the tube extender. I'll do it from the tube extender pin. And this is over here on 1, 2, 3, 4. Pin number 4 of the 6SA7. See if I can remember that. Pin number 4 of the 6SA7. So we want to measure from this clip lead, doing a resistance measurement. I'm going to use this meter here. That's the screen grid. And now the screen grid, pin 4 on the 6SA7. Pin 4, 1, 2, 3. Oh, I better count that again. 1, 2, 3. This is 4. Hey. Check the meter, check the meter. Always check the meter. Yeah. Well, that suggests there's no connection between the two screens. And that suggests it's another suggestion there's no connection up to the first two. Or is it just because of the tube extender? And if only I could get up in there. Maybe I can't. So it's pin number, I really have to get up in there. Pin number 6. This is probably just a question of the tube extender not helping the situation. Okay, pin 6. This is really tough to see. Well, maybe not. Pin 6. So pin 6. No, I can get it. This is. I can see the wire that travels between the pins. It's a big, heavy wire. You can see it. How can this not be there? Okay, watching the meter, it's going to be a tube. Oh my gosh. There it goes. What was happening there? So this is right on the solder. What's happening? Right on the... How did I get a 0? Oh, maybe I touched ground? Ah, that's what it is. Well, that shouldn't give me a 0, should it? Ground? Playing the drums here. Resistance from 6SA7 screen to ground. I thought I resolved all these things. Open. Resistance from the 1, 2, 3. Open. What the heck? Now that's ground to ground. That's chassis to chassis. I don't know what was happening there. Oh, what do I have this clipped? What am I doing? Yeah. So clip this back on. I'm thinking too fast to say everything. So again, from the screen, up there to the screen down here, screen to screen. Okay, it's a 0. Let me use a clip lead here. Let me use a clip lead, and I'll show you. Now you gotta wiggle this tube. Expecting it to suddenly drop to 0. I can see the wire in here. I can eyeball it. Can I eyeball it all the way? How can you possibly have a break in the wire here? Is this set on? No. That's definitely the wire. It's a big heavy wire. Okay, right across the wire. That's what I was doing a moment ago. Checking the meter. Checking this contact here. Checking the other end of the same wire. There we go. Okay, that's good. Checking now from the end of the wire up to the tube. And nothing. So screen voltage being applied to the tube socket, but not to the tube. How can that be? This is a... We need to bring in the close-up camera. Okay, what can you see up there? So that's the tube socket. The very top wire is the wire. There's not much to see. If I wiggle the tube, what all wiggles under here? So I'm looking to see that the the fitting that the pin goes in wiggles, which it does, and I'm looking to see if the connection wiggles. Is that a cold solder joint there? I didn't. I tested to the contact. Let me. Oh, you can see. Look at it. You can see the pins sliding in and out. Remember I mentioned this was a really loose. But when I did that, it didn't correct the short. What I'm doing is I'm putting the ohmmeter back on from the tube extender down. Okay, I'm gonna wiggle that tube. Wiggle it. It never ever shows a contact. Never ever. Gets curiouser and curiouser. If I could take the tube extender out, I lose the opportunity to test up above. I think we're just looking at a tube socket that's not socketing. It's not grabbing the pins. It's just so far-fetched, especially when I'm wiggling it. It's so far-fetched. But I have to eliminate that as a possibility. I have to make sure that, well, let's get even closer here. So if I move this up to the, oh yeah, right, I'm going to do that. Up to the top here. Camera just hit the floor. Trying to clip not onto the wire terminal but right onto the actual tube pin gripper. That's where it is. We're on the 2-pin gripper. We're reading now from the top of the tube to the bottom of the tube. It's open circuit. Okay, it's not really okay. Wiggling the tube here. Let's wiggle the tube. At no time does it show a connection through. So I'm just basically bottom of the tube, top. No connection. Oh, maybe no clip lead. Maybe that was a bogus test. Let's try it again. Let's try it again. It's very hard to believe that. It's hard to believe. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take this plate out again. Did I put this plate in? Did I short something out? Don't think so. Maybe I just leave this up here. Okay, now I've got a much better access. 876. There's no question that that's the right. Set is off. Yes. Okay, so what I've got now, I've got that right onto the socket gripper with the 2-pin. I may even be touching the 2-pin. I may even be touching the 2-pin. It's still getting 0. You gotta be kidding me here. I'm not on the same pin at all. I'm not on the same pin at all. What's happening here? I think I got things all turned around. I think I'm on the wrong pin. I think I've done this completely wrong. I think I booted this whole thing up. Yikes. How did I manage to do that? You know what it is? It's from looking like this and then rotating around and thinking like that, and I end up flipping everything over. For crying out loud. Okay, this is going to explain everything. Pin 6 is up here. Pin 6 is here. I really messed this up. And then if we go to pin 4 on the other tube. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have to count every time. I never trust my memory. We'll see a 0 now. There we go. Okay, what a dummy. Tummy. So that means I didn't measure the that means I didn't measure anything before. Okay, back off. Oh, it took a long time to figure out a stupid mistake. Okay, we're going to check again for the screen voltage. We're going to find it this time. That's what's going to happen. Because I'm going to look at the right spot for it. Okay, I think the only thing we're really having trouble with up here is the heater. I'm not sure of that though. Okay, power on. Power on. This is still in here. Plate is missing. Don't worry about that right now. Voltage, we'll read it on our other meter here. Okay. Full. Give it a full. Oh, no, not this meter. We're not using this meter. We're using the one over here. And now we're going to go on the correct pin 6. do it this way. This is 8 plate. Oh, I'm gonna get me down like this. 8 on the plate. There we are. 6. There we are. There we are. Now the correct 6 up here. It's chasing nothing. Now it's a little low, isn't it? It's on the 500 volt scale. On the 150 volt scale, screen voltage is 110 volts. Screen voltage 110 volts. That sounds right to me. Screen voltage 6SK7 RF tube, plate 210, screen 82. Let's read the plate voltage again. Maybe everything is high in this radio now. Plate voltage. Plate voltage. Read it from up here. Safer. Only I'll be blocking the meter. Let's do it down here. I can get it right here. 500 volt scale right here. It's 250 volts. 250 volts, and it's supposed to be 210. The radio's running on 118 volts from the outlet. So we got 210, so it's actually 250, so that's 20 and 100. So 20 and 100, 82 might become 100 if everything is elevated the same way. So we're going now on 6. And we are reading a 150 volt scale. 6. 110. Can't imagine that this would, completely discombobulate the radio because it's got a little extra screen voltage, especially when the plate voltage is up too. Okay, been chasing nothing here. Chasing nothing. Chasing nothing at all. Okay, broadcast band, antenna's in. That's the volume jack. Just seemed so weak. Pitifully weak radio. Okay, I'm just really right at square one here with it again. I may have to just move this to another location and prove that it's actually not working that way. I think about that one. Well, rather than move that radio around, why not move another radio around and bring it in here? So I have another radio. Just step back here a little bit. This is tuned to 590. This wire's doing nothing. It has a, usual antenna in there. That's what I'm expecting to hear on this radio.
Hey man, give me a dude that's going out there
Maybe I don't have to move that radio very far. The antenna's in a very unfortunate location. Babe Ruth? We don't have guys like that anymore? Well, that was pretty convincing that, in fact, this radio can't possibly receive in my shop here. It's just not going to happen. and this is not news to me, I have to relocate it at this point to prove or disprove it's in trouble. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I realized all I have to do is just move it a few feet off my bench based on the other radio. So here it is, kind of out in the more in the middle of my shop. Give you a little bit of a perspective. There's the bench. There's the radio. Okay, and there's the antenna. Which I just realized I think I cannot aim it easily. But let's give it a try. Maybe I'm lucky. Let's give it a try here. Great thing about this is I got the same speakers hooked up, power, all that stuff is the same. Okay, volume down. Power on. Here we go. Okay. Do your thing, radio. Let's make sure we're on the AM band. Oh my gosh.
Like I said, if the parking ticket is already on and you go back and put money in, I don't put any money in the meter. Parking ticket's there. And as one of our colleagues would say, you take the ticket and you put it somewhere else another time.
I can't tune the radio. One of the wheels is pinned.
Police officers and parking enforcement officers listening, I need confirmation on that because I swear, what about those cars you see that have like 17 tickets on the window? So is it like only good as 20 on the window? Okay. For days. I mean, I'm not talking about abandoning my whip, man. Like, you know, it's still my car. All right, so you might have cracked the code on parking violations then. What do you say a parking ticket is? 30 bucks? 25 bucks? You're going to end up with parts after the arrow. Not paying for parts? Sure, Jonesy. All right, folks, enjoy the NFL games this weekend. Enjoy sports in general. Raptors and Kings.
See if I can re-aim this antenna now.
To Smith and Jones. Taking me over? You're all set under. Mistakes on the field are high. Most games are even sweeter. Make a play. Vogon.net. Your source for free casino games, poker strategy, and live football.
How about some more stations?
For NAB Live here. One day for a Black Friday sale. Just
shop now to get the best prices at up to 70% off. We've got your favorite brands like Mango, Veromoda, Gluckstein Homes, Dyson, and more. With thousands of items on sale, get something for everyone on your list, including you. Don't miss out. Our best Black Friday prices start now. Shop thebay.com for daily deals and exclusive offers.
It's time for your annual flu shot. To get yours, simply visit your nearest Shoppers Drug Mart. Protect yourself. Getting the flu shot is your best defense against the flu. Talk to your Shoppers Drug Mart pharmacist for more information, subject to availability.
Feeling hungry? Well, Domino's Pizza has you covered. Check out this new deal from Domino's. Unlimited large 2-topping pizzas for just $10.99 each. Yeah, that's it.
There we are.
$10.99 with a minimum 2-pizza order.
It works.
Unlimited large, delicious, fresh toppings, all for just $10.99. So check it out. Carry out, delivery, all.
Well, this is the point where I say, boy, do I ever feel stupid. But you know, this is just the way it goes. As you work on these puzzles, you get a few pieces in your hand, you get the wrong impression of what the puzzle is telling you. So there we are. There's nothing wrong with this radio. I pretty thoroughly checked it out. I think what it really needs at this point, better filter capacitors in the power supply, and once more through the whole alignment process, just to really pick it up and to ensure the front dial is accurate. So I'm going to think a little more about that. I think this is the end for today, though. So what a crazy situation. I have a whole bunch more radios of this sort coming. This vintage and this size and the multi-band shortwave type thing coming. So I certainly learned a tough lesson. A lesson I didn't even need to learn. I know there's trouble in my shop with receiving things, but oh well. Okay. Well, thanks a lot for watching, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do next on video with this radio. Probably one more tune-up. We have these buttons. We had these buttons that didn't work. We have the buttons. Great buttons tomorrow. Thanks a lot for watching.